even though it is business related, you just enjoy talking with them because they can talk about all kinds of things. And I've discovered that about Lauren. She's also a great networker. She is good at connecting people and connecting the dots. But beyond that, she's a really successful businesswoman in what I consider to be an unusual niche. Her company is Love Renegade. And she actually is a love guru. I mean, she's a love fixer. She can do that with relationships, and she can also do that, help you with that with your business. Because her position is that love should permeate our entire lives. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Am I saying it wrong?
I'm listening. I love it.
This is just my, not me, I should be reading from this bio. But you probably read it when we sent it out, and you already know Lauren, if you remember. She's very involved in the chamber, and she's a hugger, and so am I. But I suspect that Lauren's been a hugger all her life. I learned late in life to be a hugger. I used to be laced up pretty tight, but that's another story. Lauren does speak widely. In fact, she is going to be a speaker at the 2017 International Women's Conference in India in May, and that is such an honor. Those conferences are held all over the world, and they are held. It's such an honor that she has been invited to speak there. She is creator of the Manifest Relationship Magic, Break the Laws of Love, Quiz, and other relationship programs. Her position is that love affects everything that you do. Now, that's a difficult program for us to do because we're a business organization. So I asked her to interpret, but I loved the topic of choosing truth over illusion. How many of you think you can do that?
Everyone can. It's just a choice.
And, you know, we had a discussion about this when we talked about it. I love the title, but I wasn't quite sure what she was going to do. And when she told me that she felt that love affects our businesses, and I said, well, I mean, that if we have bad relationships, it affects our businesses and everything. How many of you agree with that? See, I didn't.
You got into it.
My position was that I can compartmentalize. And she was adamant that you cannot do that. Anyway, that's enough. She is, as I say, she's the go-to guru when you're ready for some serious love fixing, whether it's in your business or your relationships. And her approach is very non-judgmental and action forward. She claims that there's nothing she hasn't heard, and I wouldn't be surprised about that. And she loves creating a safe space for people to share their feelings, ask questions, break free of illusions, and embrace truth, both in business and relationships. Lauren, you can tell us how to do that.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren K. Wyatt, and my business is Love Renegades. And Rose, I'm so appreciative of that intro you gave me. That was awesome. I've been a member of the chamber for, I think I'm going on my 3rd or 4th year. And so speaking here with all of you, this is something that's very dear to my heart, and I'm so, so grateful for this time that we have together today. So today, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can choose truth over illusion so that you can have results and experiences that you love in your business and your personal life. And during our time together, I'm going to share what truth is what illusion is, the ways that you can spot different illusions, and what you can do to allow yourself to have more love in your life. I'm going to be using real-world examples. I'm going to be maybe sharing a bit about myself and my own journey. And toward the end of the program, I am going to invite you to ask questions. Because a lot of what I'm talking about, while I think it makes sense for a lot of us, and I know I was the same way when I first started really thinking about things differently, there are concepts that seem like they're way out there, and talking about it and applying it to a real world situation makes it more practical and easy to understand so that you can relate it to your own life so that you can have more love. So I will be opening it up for Q&A in case I didn't already say that. And I also, you may have noticed, I put a pamphlet on the table. I know there are so many papers and there's food and there's a lot of fun things to do while you're here. But there is a pamphlet on the table and it says Break the Laws of Love Quiz. And I'm going to be talking more about that later, and those are some gifts that I'm offering you so that you can choose truth over illusion and have some more love. Okay, so what is truth? What is illusion? There are two kinds of truths. One of these truths is something that is subjective, which means that what's true for me may not exactly be true for you. And the reason that that is so is because all of us, each of us are people, and each of us have had our own human experiences. We've had our own relationships. We have experienced our experiences. And some of these experiences, I don't know why I'm holding this up here, it's on mine. Some of these experiences have really brought us a lot of joy, and other experiences have brought heartbreak, pain, and turmoil. And what we've experienced shapes the way that we see the world, and it can shape the different truths that we have within our lives. So when you think of something like religion, in my humble opinion, there's no right religion. And well, maybe there are some misinterpretations of other religions that can cause a lot of pain and suffering, but for the most part, our religious beliefs, that is all about a person's truth. And it has to do with how a person grew up. So we have the subjective truth, and then we also have the universal truth. And that's what we're really going to be tuning into today, over choosing truth over illusion. Universal truth is something that is true no matter where you are. It doesn't matter what culture you are. It doesn't matter what circumstances you have. These are things that are going to be true no matter where you go. So we're going to be talking about those truths, and I want to talk about them as we talk about illusion, because for me, it's easy to understand something when you have something to contrast it with. It can give us a bit of a perspective. So, an illusion is something that appears to be true. It appears to be true, and upon closer inspection, you find that it's maybe not so true. That's what we're really going to be focusing on here today. And in my company, Love Renegades, I'm an illusion dismantler. I'm a spiritual guide and healer. I help people dismantle the illusions that are separating them from love. And yes, we do focus a lot on romantic love and relationships, but as Rose said, we look at the business as well. Because think about it, our careers and our businesses, whether you're an entrepreneur or you work for another company, corporation, nonprofit, whatever it is, this is a way in which many of us spend the majority of our time. And what we're doing at work is going to affect our quality of relationships and our love life. And then, of course, those things get to affect the other things as well. And it's totally okay if you're not buying it, or you don't believe me, or you're like, maybe that's one of those subjective truths. It's true for some people, not true for others. That's not true for me. You get to think however you want to think. That is the beauty of this whole talk, is we all have free will. We all get to think whatever we want, and we all have permission to do that. So I'm not here as some authority figure telling you what to do or how to think. I'm just here to offer you another perspective so that you can open your heart and expand your mind so that these things can help you to make some new wise choices so that you can have some more love. Because I'm sure that all of us would love to have more love, right? Love's good stuff. So, I want to talk about 3 different types of illusions, and as I do this, I'm going to bring in some examples on how this fits into business, work, personal life, relationships. And the first of these are things that these illusions are rooted in wisdom, I think, but somewhere along the line there was a little bit of a misinterpretation, and these things can really keep us separated from love. So I noticed something. I'm on Facebook a lot, and of course there's a lot of time that goes into that, but I also use it for research because I like to see what people are talking about. And one of my Facebook friends who, he's a person in the transformational world, he said something that I thought was perfect for our talk today. He said, when you attract the positive, you'll never need to repel the negative. So, who in here likes that or thinks that that's true? Okay, thank you all so much for raising your hand. I look at that and I get a little fired up. I'm like, that is not true. It's just not. There is truth to it, absolutely, or else it wouldn't be out there, and that's why this falls into category 1. But it's just not true. Because we have something called the law of polarity. The law of polarity is a universal law. Has anyone in here heard of universal law or the law of attraction or anything? Something, it's around, right? Especially in Austin, it's here. So these are universal laws. This fits into universal truth. It's something that's true no matter where you go. However, in the case of category 1, for things that appear to be true, because they are rooted in some wisdom, I think, but they're really not. Let me get back to this thing. For the law of polarity, that means that everything has an opposite, right? There's light, there's dark, there's positive, there's negative. We can go on and on together, and we would not know what one of them was. Like, we wouldn't know what light was if we didn't know what happened when we turned off the light. So when someone says something like, when you attract the problem, you'll never need to repel the negative. Oh wait, when you attract the problem. Nice Freudian slip on my part. When you attract the positive, you'll never need to repel the negative. The thing is yes, if you think positively, you're probably going to be a more empowered and uplifting person. However, when those positive thoughts that you're thinking encourage you to do something different, now we're going to get into the real world stuff. When it encourages you to quit your job, go after that promotion, do something new in your business, maybe start the process of cultivating a relationship. When those new ideas, writing your book, when these new ideas start to take hold, you say, yeah, I want to do that. Let's go for it. I'm just going to focus on the positive. And you start going, guess what happens? This is universal law of polarity. That negative is going to come and it's going to knock you down. And I bet you wouldn't expect that I would say that. And you're probably thinking, that is so freaking negative. Why would you say that? We're supposed to be uplifting each other. The thing is how you respond to that. There is this man who, I've never met him. He's no longer alive. But I've read one of his books. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. And his name is Viktor Frankl. And when I think about this man, I get a little emotional because he survived the Holocaust. Auschwitz, nonetheless. And for this man, and I have his quote right here because I didn't want to get it wrong. Someone who survived something like that, I'm going to listen to them and ask, how did you do that? He says, and he uses the word man, so we're going to assume that he means human, and it's okay. This was written a while back. Everything can be taken from a man, a woman, a person, a human, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. So this is somebody who went through probably one of the worst atrocities that we know that happened on our planet. And he's saying that he still found freedom. He still allowed love into his life to survive that. So I bring this up as I talk about category 1, which is all about the things that appear to be true, is that, yes, when you go after something that you want, all of your biggest fears are going to kick up. You're going to say, oh, gosh, I don't deserve love. This person couldn't possibly like me, so I'm going to nitpick him or her and tell you all the things I don't like about them. Oh no, I don't really want that position. That just sounds like too much work, and I like watching Netflix all day long, so I'm not going to do that. Or, gosh, I really feel like I need to be honest with somebody, and I've been feeling that a lot. It's weighing heavily on my heart, but I'm not going to do this because what if this person rejects me? What if they tell everybody all of my secrets? What if I feel ashamed? That's the negative. And it happens when you focus on the positive. So, and also, even when you keep going, you may have noticed this in your life as you go towards something that's really important to you, you start to get really tired. Maybe you get a little sick. Maybe your husband, your wife, your best friend, your sister, your brother, your colleagues, they start acting up, drama takes place, and most of the time, you choose, we choose, I've chosen to focus more on all of those problems and to allow that drama to keep me from love. So do not mistake yourself in thinking that all you have to do is think positively and everything's going to be okay, because that's an illusion. So just accept that maybe it won't feel okay and that you get to handle your fear a little differently. So I want to move into the next area here. This one might kind of be my favorite. It has to do with the things that you think are true because other people told you they were true or told you to think them. Think them. And this is stuff that we usually may think of this as good choices, positive choices, what a good person would do. And with women especially, I gotta tell you, a lot of us think highly of sacrifice. You gotta sacrifice to get what you want. And it's all hard work. I'm gonna put everyone in front of me so that I'll be rewarded, so that I'll be loved. Whatever it is, like, why do you think someone would choose to sacrifice? I'll tell you why I did it. I did it because I thought that that's how I could show people that I loved them. And it doesn't work. All it does is it fosters resentment, and it doesn't work for either party. When we sacrifice, we are so removed from love, and every time we sacrifice, we create more opportunities to do that. So think about what happens at work. We have to get this deadline. Can you do it? And you do everything you can, you're not sleeping, you stop taking care of yourself, the things that are important to you go to the wayside, and then you're not really acknowledged for it. And then another deadline comes up. It starts happening again and again. Or you're in a relationship with someone, and you just keep giving and giving and giving, and the other person takes it and likes it. And what happens to you? You get burnt out because you have blocked yourself from receiving. And because you were too into pleasing other people and sacrificing, you lost track of your own heart and what was important to you. And I'm not going to say it's anybody's fault, because it's not. But if there is something in your life where you are settling, or you're feeling like you're sacrificing, I urge you to at least be honest with yourself. And right now, as you're thinking about it, maybe different things are coming into your heart, like, well, Lauren, I have to sacrifice, and I have to always meet deadlines because of this, because of this, because of this. And to that I say, that may be what's true for you right now, but is that something that you really want to be right about forever? Right? Because there is one thing that I really want you all to hear, and that's that every choice has a consequence. And right now, if there's a lot of settling, if there's a lot of burnout, if there's a lot of sacrifice, there's some reason why you're choosing that. And it's up to you to connect with your own heart so that you can set yourself free. So in this category 2, these are things that other people taught us to do. These are things that appear to be true. There's something called job security. Who's heard of it? Right? Everybody in here has heard of job security. I gotta say this is a little category 1 because there's some truth in it. There's some truth in it. But job security is another illusion. Because the truth is that there is no guarantee. There's nothing that's absolutely for certain. And I know that that sounds scary and it sounds kind of terrifying maybe. But on the bright side of this, you can choose truth. We're going to switch from illusion into truth here. The truth is that every single one of you is talented. There is not one of us who is better than the other in this room. Each of us have our own set of talents. Each of us have our own set of gifts. And all of us have access to making new choices. So when I work with my clients, I help them tune in to their heart. Heart is all about love. It's about desire. It's about creativity, our relationships. And I ask a question, like, what would you like to experience? And I also want to know, what are you tolerating? Because there's a reason for that. And when things are not going so well, your heart will cry out for your attention. And it's often when we start moving towards something that's important to us, that's when our heart and our different wounds and all of these things just kick up into high gear, and they're disguised as fears. And sometimes we do stop, and that's not such a bad thing. It's our heart calling out for our attention. And sometimes we will think that other people are out to get us. Whether it's our colleagues at work, whether it's our sisters, our frenemies, the government. All of these things I lump into a category that I call the they. And I didn't just make this up. Carolyn Mace is one of my favorite spiritual teachers. And she says, I hear people talk about, I'm afraid of what they'll think. And she goes, who are they? Who is the they? The they is whenever you stop yourself from doing something that you want because you don't think you have permission to do that. In the second category, I was talking to this woman the other day. The second category is again about things that the they, it's basically the they illusion category. She was telling me, she's a very high-powered businesswoman, and she said, I work in this very masculine environment. I'm not allowed to cry in the boardroom. And I listened and I understood, because yes, there are behaviors that are a little inappropriate for different situations. However, is it the worst thing in the world to cry at a meeting? I can tell you I've done it. I've been the person who looked like, I was always ready to look like a fool or someone who was a little too passionate than to let a bully get away with pushing me or anyone else around. And, you know, and I have been inappropriate in these situations, and it's probably why I'm not in corporate America right now. Or at a nonprofit or any place where bureaucracy and there are rules. I got told once by my boss, there is something that we call office politics here. And I said, that's bullshit. Like, this person is sabotaging different relationships and contracts, and you want to talk to me about office politics? Because what I'm talking to you about is making you feel uncomfortable. I didn't work out there for very long. They found a way to not renew my contract, and really, I don't blame them because I was being disruptive. And I think it was a good thing